Hey family, Tacc man, how's your spirit? Talk to me. Tell me something good. I missed out on y'all yesterday. I had a party to go to. My buddy's 83rd birthday. It was beautiful at a restaurant called Tails downtown. Really, really nice atmosphere. Really, really beautiful people. But as y'all know, this is called Tacc. Through adversity comes change. Also, the book is out on Amazon. Through adversity comes change. Rich Coleman. Check it out. Pick it up. I put something together for y'all today. You know, it's like I tell you, this program is called Tac. Through adversity come change. I went through 28 years federal prison, being rich, going back to jail, coming out, getting rich again, losing everything, businesses, houses, everything. Family die, all kinds of things. So this is me giving you an understanding of you know God to me. A higher power. Um, and I think you guys are gonna like this because, like I tell you, it's five principles, three articles, one healer. Five principles. The first one is God. Uh, he's God is in charge. You know what I mean? There's a higher power. You must understand that there's something greater than yourself. And that's the creator of everything, not the created. Second principle is understand wherever you're at in life, he put you there because he's driving the car, and you must take responsibility of understanding that maybe something you've done that put you there, and he's trying to show you something. Third principle, like I always say, is the most important to me: embrace your journey. We all have a journey, and if you think not, you're one out of millions and billions of sperm shells that made it. So you have a purpose. You just have to find your purpose, and once you find your purpose, your life will be complete because then you'll live your life in accordance of your purpose. Fourth principle is the war of adversity. And all your fear short cuts, your fears, your adversities. I mean, like I'm stuttering because it's like all the bad things that in your life. You got to take a look at it, understand that you can't go over it, you can't go under it, you can't go around it. You must face them. Fifth principle is facing them and going through the wall of adversity to the road of change. The road of change consists of three articles: past, present, future, knowledge, wisdom, understanding. Um, and you have to go through your what's, whens, where's, why's, how, and sometimes who. Meaning who did what and how this, and that's going to be the most difficult because it's your past. Second is understand is wisdom. Wisdom will help you to see life a whole lot better than you are right now, and it'll get you to where you need to be to get to understanding. And once you get to understanding and you go through all the process of what, when, where, why, how, then you'll be able to see life for what it really is, and you'll be able to let go of those demons, your past, and just keep moving. And the beautiful thing about that, once you're able to face your fears, they no longer haunt you. You know, uh, and then you'll be able to help others to heal. And then the last is heal, but heal with three A's: helping everyone accept, achieve, and appreciate love. So what I'm going to do is I'm every night, inshallah, I'm going to have a topic, and then we're going to discuss it, or I'm going to read to you what I came up with, and then you give me your feedback, however you want to do it. You know, uh, this is called every breath, every step, a litany of gratitude for God's gift. Y'all ready? Here we go. The brothers and sisters, friends in faith, and all who seek beauty. Before I say another word, let us do one thing together. Let us breathe deeply, slowly, in and out, like this. Again, Now feel the air, feel your lungs, feel it leave. The quiet rise and fall, that is not automatic. That is a gift. Breathing is a gift. Every inhale is a small resurrection. Every inhale is a whisper of trust that God will give us another one. Because sometimes you may not get another breath. We begin at the beginning, not the beginning of the universe, though God spoke that into beginning too, but the beginning of you, before you could remember, before you could see clearly. God was weaving you together in the dark warmth of your mother's womb. The psalmist say, I praise you for I am fearful and wonderfully made. Wonderful not because you are perfect, but because you are intended. Your heart began to beat, not to change, but to command live. And then the first cry, the first gasp of air. No one taught you to breathe. It was installed in you by the architect of all things. From that moment, God began a lifelong love letter written in nerve, bone, and silence. Dig that. The gift of senses. Think of the first time you saw light. You don't remember it, but God does. He saw your pupils contract, your eyes struggle to focus, and he smiled because sight is a miracle. Look around this room. Colors, shadows, faces, the way dust floats in the sunbeam. None of it had to none of it had to be beautiful. God could have made the world functional, gray, flat, efficient. Instead, he gave us sunsets that set the sky on fire, the deep blue of a glacier, the gold of a wheat field. When you see a child stare at a butterfly, you are watching raw wonder. That wonder is prayer. All right, somebody came in. How you doing? This is Tacc. Through Adversity Comes Change. This is the book. You can find it on Amazon by me, Rich Coleman. It's very inspirational. Um, and I would ask you to support. And hearing the first voice you knew, maybe your mother humming, your father laugh, sound and vibration made music, the rustle of leaves, rain on the roof, the world, I love you, God. Did you not need to give us ears that can distinguish a thousand frequencies? But he did, because he delights in our delight. Touch, your first blanket, the warmth of a hand holding yours, the smoothness of a stone, the softness of a petal. God could have made us without nerves. Instead, he made us to feel not just pain, but tenderness. Every time you hug someone, you are echoing an embrace of eternal. Smell, the sense of bread baking, rain on dry earth, a baby's head. These are not accidents. They are sacraments. God whispers through fragrance. Taste the sweetness of strawberry, the salt of the sea on your lips, the first sip of cold water when you are thirsty. Why would a God who does not need to eat give us taste buds? Because he is a giver of joy. Every meal, every thank you note waiting to be written. The gift of movement, speech, and thought. Now remember learning to walk. You fell 100 times, but God gave you not just muscles and bones, but persistence. That first wobbly step towards your mother's arms, that is faith, a miniature. Today you walk without thinking, but stop, stand. Stand up, feel your feet on the floor. The intricate coordination of balanced sight, the nerve signals happening in milliseconds, that is engineering beyond any human invention. Every step is a quiet miracle. When you run, dance, climb stairs, kneel to pray, you are using a gift that millions would weep to have. Now dig. These are just some of the senses, and why I'm saying this is about God, because this is just some of the things that He's given us: air, taste, feeling, smell, sight, limbs that move. It's people born without limbs. It's people born without sight. People born without hearing. I mean, it's so much that we got to be grateful for. And this is what I'm saying. Through adversity comes change. And once you start to understand the many blessings that God gives us, you'll start to understand why through adversity comes change is so important. We have to get back to being appreciative to stuff like this. In speech, the ability to shape air into meaning, mama, daddy, later, I'm sorry, I believe, I love you. God spoke the universe into existence, and then He gave you the same power on a smaller scale. With your tongue, you can bless or wound, pray or curse. The fact that you can say thank you, God, is itself a gift. Use your voice today to praise, sing off key in the shower, tell someone they matter. That is the holy work. Thought, memory, imagination. How many people are getting dementia now? you know, uh, and it's growing larger. Just think about that. All his many wonders that he does for us and he gives to us, and we're not appreciative. Thought, memory, imagination. You can close your eyes and remember your grandmother's kitchen. You can imagine a world more just than this one. You can solve a problem, write a poem, dream a dream. The human brain is not a computer, it is a cathedral of electrical fire, and God dwells in its curiosity. When you wonder, you worship. When you lean into his mind. Adulthood, work, love, and hidden mercies. As you grow, we take on burdens, work, bills, raising children, caring for parents. And it is easy. Okay, hold on. Where was I at? Start from then. As you grow, you take on burdens, work, bills, raising children, caring for parents. And it is easy to forget the beauty, but look closer. God gave you hands, hands that can hold a tool, type a letter, wipe a tear, cook a meal, build a house, plant a seed. Your hands are the hands of God's continuous creation. When you serve someone, you become his fingers. He gave you a heart that can love, romantic love. Yes, the flutter of new attraction, the deep peace of old commitment, but also friendship. The friend who calls at midnight, the neighbor who shares their harvest, the stranger who becomes family. Love is gravity that holds the universe together, and God poured it into your chest. Every time you forgive, you imitate God. Every time you are kind without reward, you echo the God who sends rain on the just and the unjust. And the hidden mercies, the ones you never see, the car that stopped in time, the illness that miss you, the dark thought that passes without action, the angel who maybe just maybe touch your shoulder. God is at work in the background of your life like a composer written rest into sympathy. Silence is not absent, it's a trust. It's just like he said, the things that miss you. Like we just had a COVID thing. How many people didn't get it? So that was God's mercy. And what I'm giving y'all tonight is, why we need to be grateful, you know, and we have to go through our adversities in order for us to change. It's something that we must do. We would love to live our lives backwards, but we must live it forward so we can get the lessons and the blessings. Midlife, grief, perseverance, and unexpected beauty. By midlife, we have known loss, a parent, a dream, our own health. And here, God's gift change flavor. They become not just sweet, but deep. He gives you a gift of tears. Yes, tears. To wipe is to be human, and to be human is to be made in the image of God who wept at the tomb of Lazarus. Tears water the soul of compassion. A heart that has grieved is a heart that can hold others' pains. He gives you the gift of perseverance, that quiet refusal to give up. The morning you got out of bed when everything in you wanted to stand down, the stubborn hope is not from you alone. It is grace. God breathes endurance into your bones. He gives you the gift of he gives you the gift of perspective. You begin to see that the things you chased, status, money, approval, were shadows, and the things you neglected, presence, gratitude, rest, were gold. Wisdom is the slow gift. It arrives not with a bang, but with a quiet revelation. Oh, that's what matters. Like I said, we would love to live our lives backward. We must live it forward so we can get the lessons and the blessings. Because if he gave it to us all at once, we kill ourselves or we'll be tyrants. You know, so everything he does is for a reason. And beauty is unexpected places, a cracked sidewalk with the flower growing through, a laugh line on an old face, the way your child now mothers you a little. God hides diamonds in gravel of ordinary days, old age, the harvest of gratitude. And now we come to the golden age. If we are blessed to see them, gray hair, huh, slower steps, aching joints, and yet God gives you the gift of memory, not the sharpness of youth, but the warmth of long story. You can sit and remember first kisses, births, sunrises, the feel of your children's small hands. Memory is God's time machine. Use it to give thanks. This is called Tac. Through adversity come change. Somebody just came in. You can buy it on Amazon. Is something that I think that will be very great for you. I see you just left, but I'm finished. I just wanted to let you know. Um, he gives you the gift of release. You no longer have to prove anything. The frantic stride fades. You can sit on a porch and watch the world go by. And that is no laziness, it is contemplation. You have earned the right to be still and know that He is God. He gives you the gift of blessings. In many traditions, the elders are the ones who speak blessings over the young. Your words carry weight. When you say, I am proud of you, it lands like rain on dry ground. When you pray for your grandchildren, heaven listens. Your weakness is not a burden, it's a throne for which you bless. And finally, the gift of surrender. Old age teaches you what youth cannot, that you are not in control, and that is okay. Every breath is borrowed, every step is a gift. When you realize your grip on life, you discover that God's hand has holding you all along. Death loses its sting when you realize it's just a door into more beauty. A lot of people are afraid to die, but it's something that we all have to do, no matter what. And you must be able to embrace that to make it at least peaceful for you while you're here before it happens. The uncountable gift, gratitude without end. But I have barely scratched the surface. What about the gift of laughter, the way a sudden joke can shatter sadness? What about the gift of silence? Not empty silence, but the kind where two people sit together and need no words. What about the gift of forgiveness, both giving and receiving? What about the gift of nature? Mountains that make you small, oceans that make you infinite, the single dewdrop on a blade of grass that holds a whole rainbow. What about the gift of rest, sleep, that little death after which we wake again and by his mercy? What about the gift of community, the church, the family, the mosque, the temple, the friends who carry you when you cannot walk? What about the gift of scripture, words written thousands of years ago that still speak to your midnight fears? What about the gift of prayer, that you can speak to the maker of galaxies and he listens? And above all, the gift of God, God who did not stay far off, but who walked who breathed, touched, tasted, wept, and the rose, so that every beautiful thing I have named today is temporary. It is down payment on the world where no one grows old, no one stops breathing, and gratitude never ends. He talking about heaven. Closing a call to thankfulness, and this is what we are really not. We're going to talk about this when I get to reading, but yeah, nobody really is really thankful. So my challenge to you is this: before you sleep tonight, name 10 things, 10 gifts from the day, not the bigger ones, just the small one. The warm water of a shower, the sound of a child's laugh, the fact that you can swallow without choking, the smell of coffee, the ache in your knees that means you are still alive. And then breathe one breath. Say silent, thank you, God, for this one. Because the most beautiful thing He has done is not any single miracle. It is that He keeps giving day after day, breath after breath, from birth to old age. He never stops and He never will. Let us stand or sit if staying is hard and give thanks. Thank you, Lord of my first breath. Thank you for this one. Thank you for sight, sound, touch, taste, smell. Thank you for walking, for speaking, for thinking. Thank you for the work. Thank you for work and rest, for grief and joy, for friends and silence. Thank you for gray hair and grandchildren. Thank you for a body that has carried me all these years. And thank you for the promise that best is yet to come. Amen. Go in peace and do not forget to say thank you before you sleep. And reason why I put this together, right? Because the first principle of Tacc through adversity come change is God. And I was thinking about it, and I realized how we don't give God His just due. A lot of times we do things and we don't even realize, you know, the effects that it has. I gotta take my medicine. But if we take time to reflect and look at the things that we put ourselves through and go through, if we just took time to sit down and think for a second, life would be so much better for us. Because God doesn't make things hard for us. He makes it easy. This is how you think we're able to figure things out. If we evolve. And it's not by choice, it's on purpose. He made us to evolve. But the thing is like this, we gotta show him gratitude. You know, we on it on this earth, especially in America, we've been lied to from the beginning of conception of slavery and everything. And not just black people, everybody. So this program is about helping us to heal. Like we could, as a people, stand up and demand, but a lot of us have been brainwashed, like the cult that's going on now in America. But if we used to come together and do the right thing, it's nothing that they can do, because we outnumber them, and there's so many things that have to be changed now that it's going to take years and years, but it can be done, because I say we must heal for the simple fact that we'll never be able to do anything together progressive until we able to heal and forgive and move on and learn the lies from the truth so that we can come together as a people. Like I said, the last part of TAC is heal with three A's, helping everyone accept, achieve, and appreciate love. And that's hard. It's really hard because a lot of us don't really know what real love is. How many people can say that they know what real love is? Not a lot, and once you able to achieve love, you'll be able to appreciate love. Once you're able to appreciate love, you do everything in your powers never to lose it. Because love is like God, and God is love. It's the strongest force in the universe. It can make you the happiest and it can make you the saddest. It's up to you. But no matter what, you must stand in love. You don't fall in love. Because when you fall in love, it's not going to last. My thing is, I just want us to win as a people, man. We've been down bad so long. It's like it's time for us to win, and the only way we're going to win is we have to first heal, learn the truth from the lies, then come together. And while we're going through this process, we're going to learn everything we need to learn once we come together so that it can be successful. And it has to be quiet. You can't do it loud because anything that's a threat to these people, they get rid of it. That's just how it go. So it has to be quiet. And by the time it surfaces 30 years from now, what's up, baby boy? Or you on Kick or Twitch? Yeah, I put together I put together you. How you do? I was gonna call you later too. How's things going with you? You up in the market or what? Let me know. Type it to me. Well, yeah, I put together something about God, the first principle of tax. Tomorrow's gonna be the second principle. Okay. What? Good, good, good. Every little bit, yo. Everything in time, baby boy. Everything in time. You just take one step at a time. Yeah, but I went to the party my old head last night. That was good. I went to Juma yesterday in the city. It was which was good because I wound up being able to go pick up my smoke, and I went to the fish market, bought me some conch. I made me some conch salad today. I probably make me some conch fritters tomorrow. So that was a good productive day. You know, but yeah, the whole thing is like having an understanding that God is in charge, man, and that no matter what, it's gonna be all right because He takes care of everything that He makes. It's nothing that God makes that He don't take care of. Birds go out every day with nothing in they and they come back with food. Animals every day. He's gonna make a way. This is why He put everything together. It coincides with each other. We all feed off each other. We do what we do, and it's a blessing. You just got to understand the blessing. And when you keep God first, man, so many things in your life just happen. I mean, I'm definitely impatient. Yeah, yeah, no question. Um, just look at my life. I can't use nobody else's. Look at all the things I've been through, and I'm still faithful to God. Now more so than ever. It's just like before. I used to be mad because guys, put me in jail. But I thank them now for the simple fact that, man, if I didn't go through that, I wouldn't be in the close proximity of God the way I am today. And only people who know what peace is and who have peace will understand what I'm saying. See, because once you understand that God is in charge and He makes things happen in your life for a reason, you'll understand that, man, your purpose. You start to understand your purpose. Once you understand your purpose, now you start to take responsibility of your life. You no longer point fingers. You know what I mean? You point your fingers right here to you. Everything starts and ends with me. So everything that I put myself in was my fault. Everything I'm going through is my fault. If I let people screw me up, screw me over, it's my fault. And once you get that understanding, man, life becomes so much easier for you because now you accept life for what it really is. Then you start to forgive people. And then after you start to forgive people, you forgive yourself. Once you be able to forgive yourself, this is when the peace comes in. And you have to be patient. Nothing good comes quick. There's no get rich overnight. There's no everything just no. You got to be patient, but you have to put the work in. You got to put the work in. You don't put the work in, it's not. Look, I created a book like 3 months after getting shot, right? I didn't give up. I didn't just say, fuck it. I could have went out like Willie Lump Lump, but no, that was my awakening because the book was like 8 years in the process because I created it years ago. And I started doing it on Facebook Live like 3 years ago when I was in the halfway house. Then when I got to the shelter, I was doing it. So for over 2 years straight, almost every day, I was doing lives. Then now after the shooting, I make a book. Now I got the podcast, where is uh now, so you can see I got the hook up here, and yeah, and just doing more and more positive things. I'm just not sitting down and doing nothing. I go to therapy. I exercise here. You see my bike right there. I got weights over here, the flex over here. I got to get back in shape. When you get shot, you lose a lot of bone density and muscle and all kinds of stuff. But yeah, man, my thing is, man, we got to keep God first, man. It's nothing like having God in your life, you know? Nothing like having God in your life, man. You ain't got to go through nobody to get to him. He right here. He right here. Talk to him. Trust me. He talk back. As much stuff I've been through, I'm telling you, he talks back. You just gotta want to talk to him, and you gotta do the right thing. I don't care how you pray, what your religion is, whatever. Just be true to it. Be true to it. Like I tell Muslim brothers, if you take your shahadatain, you got a contract with God. You and God, you just made a contract. God, look, I'm gonna pray 5 times a day. I'm gonna give charity. I'm gonna fast, and I'm gonna do hard if I can. And the fifth pillar is the shahadatain. So I don't know what Christians or Jews do, but yeah, be true to it. And live righteously. You know, you know, not living unrighteous. Because we all have to be righteous. There is no God of hate. There's only a God of love. So if you're into hate, then you're not worshiping God. You're worshiping something else, and it's probably the devil. But I'm not here to judge nobody. My thing is to help you heal, and it's only through adversity change will come. Like I tell you, your choices shape your adversities. Your adversities are your lessons to get you to your blessing. But you have to keep God first, no matter what. And if you don't, you'll see. I got a brother from Detroit that was going through it. And like I told him, I said, man, pray. And man, everything turned out when he started giving God his. Man, you give him his, he gonna give you yours. It's written. He's never gonna go against his word. We may go against ours, but he'll never go against his word. So the whole thing is, man, just living right and doing the right thing and keeping him first, and that's how I live my life today. No doing wrong no longer feels right, and I just, like I said, I just want to live the rest of my life in peace, helping people who really need help and learning my way of life the best that I can. So when I do meet my maker, it's real and it's not recorded because he knows the difference. And just, living my last days at peace, man, and put as many smiles on people's faces as I possibly can. That's it. I've done a lot of wrong in my life with hustling in the street, but I paid for it. 28 years of my life and still on probation. So it's been like 40 years altogether. I've been uh, in jail or on probation, you know, because when you come out and you're on probation, you just like you on a furlough, but you just do stuff, but you have to report, you know, from 1986 to right now today, I've been either in prison or on probation. Only was free 9 months out of all that time. So you do the math from 86, 96, '06, 16, 26. That's 40 years of my life. And I still have a couple more left to do. So this is what I tell you guys, like, until you've gone through some things, you know, you just have to understand, man. You just got to keep your trust in God. Look at me, man. Like I said, 28 years in federal prison, got shot 9 times, and still wrote a book, got a podcast afterwards. It's a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful thing. Got a book that you can read to help you to heal. But you can lead the horse to water, but you can't make him drink. My job is just to give it to you, you know, and hopefully I'm doing my job. And the beautiful thing about it, if one wins, we all win. That's how I always been. Never been selfish. I always been the one that made sure everyone ate. But I always been the one that got screwed in the end. But it is what it is. I'd rather be this hand than this hand. So I've been this hand all my life, and I thank God. That hasn't changed, you know. And life is good, man. You know, you just gotta just keep doing the right thing, you know. But this is what I wanted to give you all today. You know, it's my prayer time, so I'm finna go make my prayers. But I just want you guys to know, man, that man, God loves you. I love you, and every day ain't gonna be a bad day. Just know that, man. It gets greater later, but you gotta make it. You know, you can't let nobody else dictate. You gotta make your life. And you know, God gave you enough wisdom to maneuver, figure things out, and that's all you gotta do. Do what you need to do to get to where you need to be. And I tell you, life will be great for you. Trust and believe, man. You know, I could have been bitter and all kinds of stuff, but no, my heart is forgiven. God says not an atom's weight of pride can enter paradise. And what hides in pride? Jealousy, envy, hate, all kinds of isms, schisms, fears. I don't have those no more. Thank God, or inshallah, they're very minor, you know. And inshallah, before I die, He let me get rid of them so I don't even have an atom's weight of pride left in me. It's not worth it. This world is only passing, you know, and we think you're welcome, my brother. You know, we think that this is everything. No, this is just a test. And if you don't pass it, it's gonna be a bad situation. So get your connection with God right. Trust me, man, you're gonna need it, you know. All I want to do is give you love, you know, and help you to heal so that we can come together and we can get us some real money and do real things because you see what's going on now is we are not even in the equation. So it's time for us to do our own thing. Like I said, strap up your boots. Let's go strap our boots up and get right. Tech man out. Until tomorrow night, I'll see you again. Peace.